Recording in progress.
Okay, you got your microphones on?
Microphone.
Oh, got a couple more walking in. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started since it is 9 o'clock. We have a lot of business to get through this time. So if I could, I'm going to call the meeting to order. We don't have our appointee. Doug, is there a Doug in the building? Okay, I think we can skip that part. Mark, you want to go through the review of the financials?
Oh, I thought John was
You're
going
gonna
to.
let John do that? All right,
He's
John.
the man. No,
Go for
ahead.
it. Go
Go
for it.
ahead. John's on it.
That's why I arrived.
I know.
Perfect timing.
Okay, financials. You look on the tax collections, we're doing good. October of 2022, end of October, we had 774,000 compared to 654 last year, so we're up. Home share innkeeper state is about the same, 27 against 28, and innkeeper's tax is 64 compared to 52, so that's up. So I think we're doing pretty good on our collections. We started out the first of the year with 826,000 roughly, and at the end of October we have just a little over $1 million. But I do see we're going to be giving away some money here today. So,
We have a few grants too.
and I think everybody's up to date, Michelle, on the
Innkeeper's tax?
Yep.
collections.
Okay. Also, I want to mention before we get started with the grants that we're going to be looking at both 2022 and 2023. So we're going to
Yes.
kind of keep that in mind. I'll kind of differentiate for you as we go through so you're aware of what year we're talking about and what we're approving. Okay?
And I think we're pretty well up to date on what we have approved, except it looks like the Lilly Center, unless we've gotten a bill from them recently, we still owe them a little money. And on the skiers on there, maybe we'll hear about that later on the scoring building, so. And then we have quite a few requests here today, whether it goes in 22 or 23, so that's kind of financial statement.
Okay?
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's move on to, looks like we have Elise and the Wagon Wheel Center for the Arts. You want to go ahead?
I do have a handout already that I approached to give you.
Boy,
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, thank you.
Yeah, Tommy. Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Lakeisha Green, and I'm the Executive Director of the Wagon Wheel Center for the Arts. It's so great to stand before you again with another ask. But before we really get into the presentation, I really want to thank you all for the last time that I was here and kind of give you an update about our website revamp that's happening right now with Timberline, that we are currently on schedule with the redesign and going into matching it with our strategic plan and also as we continue to go on. And all of our goals are being met, and it's going to be completed in 2023 before our summer season. So we are so excited that this is happening. This new website will include the robust, improved section of our Plan Your Visit, because that we've noticed that in our research with it that's not on our current website, and all the tourist attractions that we bring to this area, they need to be able to plan that out and know how important Kosciuszko County is. And this will also increase the connection for visitors as well with other attractions that's happening in the area, that it goes beyond the wagon wheel, that it's everything that we're offering in our county. So thank you. Thank you for investing in us for this vital communication and marketing tool for the Wagon Wheel Center for the Arts. Today, we are here to present a grant request of $81,000 for you all to support in restoring our historic White Hill Manor that's near and dear to us and our Wagon Wheel family. for housing of our contract staff and professional theater for the summer and holiday show of whatever we need when we do bring in professionals to the theater. Standing with me today that's going to help break this all the way down, because I'm all about presenting data to you as Elisa passed out to you all of what it is, because we are great stewards of our money and we want to show you where everything is going and how this number came about. So standing before me today that's going to speak as well is Thomas Burnworth, who is the architect and project manager of Milestone Construction. And I just want to give Milestone, when we came to the table, it brings tears to my eyes with this project, because of all the other construction companies that were so busy. You know, everybody knows what's happening right now. And the fact that when Milestone came to the table, they said, we don't want to just help Wagon Wheel. We want to be a partner with Wagon Wheel. We want to be there. We want to invest. We want to help you all see this through for the longevity, because they understood the importance of what White Hill is to not only this community, but to the Wagon Wheel. So huge kudos to Milestone. And this is what these projects do. They help build these partnerships and deepening the relationships with the community. So kudos to Milestone, you'll hear them, and also Greg Crowless, who is the project manager with Milestone Construction. And then, of course, our development director will break down a little bit more of and give you insight of the demographics and patron report. And then Holly Lance, our finance director, will break down the money of what we have spent and why the importance of where we are financially with that. I also have in the room today some of my board of directors and also Wagon Wheel staff, just in case you have any other additional questions. I think I've covered and brought everything that you need to answer everything, so you won't just have to hear my voice. But by awarding this grant of this $81,000 to the Wagon Wheel Center for the Arts, and helping us restore the roof and exterior aspects that you're going to hear about today of the White Hill Manor, it ensures the future success and preservation of one of our most unique tourism attractions to our actors when they come in to live. And it also saves us money by maintaining this historical economic piece for us, and also helps us be predictable and responsible with our contract staff. It also increases attraction outside of Kosciuszko County, because our actors that come in go out and they talk about their experience, because it's all about the experience. I'm not from here, but I've experienced so much of a gym that I love it, that I want to stay, that I want to invest, that I've come ingrained in this community. And also, lastly, for me, the reap of the benefits of the Wagon Wheel success. What Milestone is doing for us, the next time that someone stands before saying restore White Hill, none of us will be alive. We will all be gone. But it will go down in history that they did this, because the roofing that they're putting up is supposed to last 75 more years. So maybe it'll be my son that will be the next executive director to come in and do those things. But we know that this is not an overnight task, but the decisions that we make today makes the decisions for 20 years down the road when we are not standing here. And that's the importance of why we're doing what we're doing with the Wagon Wheel. So with that, we're going to start off with Milestone.
Great. So I'm Thomas, and this is Greg. So we wanted to kind of give you an update. Greg did a drawing, if you guys kind of go to that page. It's basically an elevation of the building. So we first met with the Wagon Wheel staff and kind of walked through to look at this building. So it's a very historic structure. It's a great example of Tudor architecture, which you don't see a lot of in Warsaw, so it's really kind of cool as you're coming in. It's there. It's got a lot of history, which Lisa's going to go through later, but I mean, I personally stayed there when it was a bed and breakfast, so it kind of, between that and the Wagon Wheel being an awesome part of our community, just the culture that brings to Warsaw that we don't have if it's not here. So Greg and I are definitely interested in helping the Wagon Wheel, seeing it grow and continue. So we looked at the building, and they had a list of, okay, we got all these issues. Matt, the maintenance guy, he said, we got water issues here, problems there. So we kind of went and looked at what's the biggest issue? And the biggest issue is the roof leaking in certain areas. And so on that drawing, it shows where we noticed the worst problems. And then we looked at different options to resolve those issues. And then the roof is an existing slate roof. Very long lasting, precious. We've got a great contractor that is a master slate person, and he knows how to fix it without having to tear all of it off and how to make sure it works right. So Tim Kennedy's out there working. It's a bit of a slow process just because every piece you got to remove to get to the next area. And so he's kind of putting stuff back and going forward. But as you note on there, there's certain valleys and basically the areas where parts of the roof project out that over the years that slate has moved or pieces have been maintained and put back incorrectly. And so we've got water penetration locations. And there was in particular one bathroom that had a dormer that was in a real low spot and it basically filled up like a pool or an aquarium and then so caused a lot of rot. So as we went through, we fixed those areas first. We've resolved that. And then there's still a few areas on the, what would be the south side of the building that will be done last. But all of those areas are being, basically stones coming off, things are getting widened, new flashings being applied, any rot is being repaired, and then it's all going back together. And then at the end, there's a little bit of a cosmetic fix at the same time. So any of the wood, like, so just like this room, you see all these kind of neat wood details that are cornices and wrapping around the room. Those are on the outside, so they get a lot of weather. So in order to prevent having to maintain and paint those where the roofing meets the wall and the other masonry aspects, he's going to wrap those in copper. So that will be long lasting just like the roof. So in the end, there are still many other things to this building to over a period of time as it gets used to reinvest in and to fix up. This is the biggest thing that kind of prevents safe occupation for the wagon wheel tenants. So our goal is when we're done, which the roofing part of it should be done by the end of November, and then some of those copper details should be done by the end of December. It would be totally occupiable so that you're not inside, it's not getting further damage from water penetration or anything else. The other aspect of what we're doing is in that 3 of the windows in those areas were totally, basically, in order to fix it, those had to come out. So we replaced 3 of the windows. In a long-term plan, just for life safety for the users and wagon wheel, it would be advantageous to replace some of those. But I think it's further down the road as far as the budgeting process and what we're looking at. But that's our plan.
Phase 2.
Mm-hmm. So,
Good deal.
any questions from you guys? Okay, awesome. Thank you for your time and for
Thank you
your
very much,
generosity.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Thomas and Greg. And like Lakeisha said, I'm Elissa. I'm our development director. And I have the unique capacity of getting to know a lot about the history of this beautiful building. So I'm going to share a little bit of that with you. As Thomas mentioned, this is a slate roof. But what he didn't mention is it's the original slate roof, as far as we can tell. And by original, I mean 1934. That's when this building was built. It was built by architect by Alvin M. Strauss, who is a very famous Northern Indiana architect. He did the Coliseum in Fort Wayne and several other things. But this is one of his only residential homes that he designed and had built, and he built it for Justin Zimmer, the founder of Zimmer Corporation. And so it's such a unique aspect of the culture of our community, not just general, but individual lives that have been impacted by this, as well as famous architects of our region. And the reason that that is so important is because of the tourism aspect that brings to our community, which I'll get to in a moment. But a little more history on it. We didn't acquire the building actually until 2017, where it was gifted to us. And so now we receive it. No, we don't pay taxes on it or anything. So it's a great economic impact for us as a theater to have that housing. But we can't do that if we can't even use it. So that's a huge hurdle of getting this project done, is so that it is livable. And as Thomas mentioned, this is phase 1. This is so we can use it again. Right now, it's just sitting vacant because we can't use it because it's unsafe. But once that roof capacity is done, then we can look at fixing the other problems to maintain the building so that we don't have to continue this huge overhaul maintenance in the future. We did not start actually using White Hill, though, until 2010, about 2010. Until then, it was still used as bed and breakfast, and for a little bit of time, it was when we weren't using it. So 2017 is when we finally got to acquire it to make it our own, and now we're investing in it heavily so that we can keep that going. But as I mentioned, the cultural impact is huge for this building, but the tourism piece is even greater. Not only does it support the wagon wheels tourism and our capacity to be sustainable for tourism in this community, but it also is a feature that people recognize and realize when they come to visit. In fact, cultural tourists, those are tourists who are coming for historical building, to see historical sites, to come to cultural events, arts, festivals, events like that. They spend more and they stay longer than any other tourism. Not lakes, although we love them. That's not a part of that. That, events, sports, that's not as huge of spending or as long of a stay as cultural tourism. So it's so vital that we maintain our cultural representation in our community through the arts, through historical features, because those are wow factors, that people come, they stay, they leisure because of those. And they spend more. In fact, the average spend is 60% more, approximately $1,319 per trip, as compared to $820 for traditional or domestic leisure travel. That's crazy. That's crazy. So to continue to preserve those cultural aspects is vital for our community's tourism. So the rest of our information on the impact is on that first sheet that you see in your packet. You've seen some of these numbers before, but we just wanted to show you the proof is in the pudding. The wagon wheel and what we do in the cultural aspect and the arts, this is where tourism thrives. And we are so fortunate to have that feature in such a small town. Does not exist across the nation to have this. So we encourage you and we applaud you for your past support in preserving such an aspect and vital benefit to our community, and we hope that we encourage you to continue. The last little bit we have to share today is with Holly as regard to the financial impact White Hill has for our theater.
Good morning. The financial aspect of this, as they're talking about, it is an older home, so it's going to take a lot of money to be able to manage through that. From our impact of not being able to use it, we are, a great example is the upcoming show. We cannot use it for The Sound of Music in December. We have actors coming in the week of Thanksgiving to start rehearsals for that. We are actually spending $25,000 to house them at a hotel for the 4 weeks that they're in town. So that money coming out of our operational budget, because we don't have this home that we can use, is a huge impact to our bottom line and our cash flow. So we've already invested. We've paid the first portion of this $81,000. So we've invested the $17,000. It was about $17,520, which is, the first payout. And we've, taken that from our operating money that helps us continue to keep moving forward. Overall, for the entire year, it's about $55,000 a year hit to our budget when we cannot use it, because it houses about 13 actors for the entire summer. And if we had to put them somewhere this coming summer at 4 weeks at $25,000, that's going to add up big time. So we are, that's why we're moving forward with it, due to the financial impact on it.
Okay, thank you.
So, we came, we saw, and we've experienced, but at the end of the day, we really want you all to just keep in mind the phases, and that we didn't take this decision lightly, that we, as a team, we have a task force that's led by April Frittling, that has really sat down with Milestone and really talked about the longevity, that we're not just coming up here asking you for $81,000 to go buy some flowers, but we're really looking at the sustainability. Like I said, I shouldn't be standing before you next year saying, hey, I need $81,000 more to fix the roof, but we stand on our responsibility of what we need to do to sustain and preserve the Wagon Wheel Center for the Arts, White Hill Manor. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for your due diligence also, and for the production of the facts and bringing to the table what we asked for.
Yeah, you have to make the facts of production. They get boring, you know? We're an arts center. We can't come up here and be boring with it, you know? We have to give it, because it is what it is, but we want to give you the reality of it. Because a lot of times people, when they look at an arts center, they think it's all fun and games until the numbers come out. And those numbers are real for us to keep this beloved wagon wheel that serves not only Kosciuszko, but surrounding counties that have a arts desert is what I call it. When I was down in Indianapolis this past weekend, and I was the only one from Kosciuszko County standing there in the state house. It was exciting. And we were talking about art deserts. And I was able to mention and talk about the wagon wheel and the importance it is not only for just Kosciuszko County, but for this state, that we are making arts accessible for youth. I can go on, but I want to be able to preserve, like I said, beyond me, beyond years to come, that when we stand before you again, we're talking about another issue that will sustain, that will continue going. And that's how you provide a legacy. And Wagon Wheel's legacy in this community for going into 68 years is important, because the next 68 years, like I said, I won't be here, but they're going to look back at the history and say, look at what they did. That's history. And that's what we want. So thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the grant as presented.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Thank you. And again, we're in 2022 still.
All right, out of 2022
That's out of
money.
2022
Let me put that
money.
in there, yeah.
Okay,
Thank
all
you.
right. Next, we have the CCAC. Mike can't be with us today, but I think we have Brandon and Eric. And while you're there, if you want to just give us an update that's further down the agenda, that would be fantastic.
Hi, my name's Eric Lackey. I'm here for Mike. He's on the way back from Florida, but today we're asking for a grant to replace our flooring for our indoor building so we can continue our indoor programs throughout the winter, which helps us bring in money, keep going through the winter. Brandon, he's a little more.
That's fine.
So we put down flooring originally by ourselves, the past director, and I think you even helped with the old flooring, and it just it's not doing the job that we really want. We've actually lost the pickleball association this year because of this flooring there were some tears in it and causing some issues of trip hazards and things like that. So we want to look at having a professional floor put down. J-Lane was one of our bids. We had a couple bids, but J-Lane has done a lot of the commercial flooring in like Triton High School, Wawasee weight room, some other places like that. So they have a lot of experience with putting down this rubber flooring. And we're going to put down lines for 3 pickleball courts, 1 basketball court, installed with heavy duty tape. And the old rubber padding will be taken up and saved if it can be, and used in other areas of the facility. There's a foyer that comes into the multi-sport complex. We're actually going to put it down there and kind of spruce up the place a little bit. We got together as a board and understood that the multi-sport building was kind of the pinnacle of what we need to do to spruce up, to make people come to the CCAC a little bit more throughout the winter, fall months, and we can start having a little bit different opportunities come out of that. So this is the reason for the grant, and if there's any questions on the grant side, we're asking for $50,000 just for incidentals or anything else that might overages that might come up if there is any. For $46,000, I think you guys have this from the quote, correct? So that's that part of it.
I don't think I have any questions. Do you have any questions?
No, I'll make a motion. Obviously, full disclaimer, right? I sit on the CCAC board to represent us. And this actually offers up opportunity for income for
For the
them,
hotels and
for
it
the
does.
CCAC through the winter time,
When we
and
need
then
it
some additional
most.
opportunities in the spring, summer. those seasons, so that they're not, again, I think I've been our representative for 3 years, maybe going on 4 now. The first couple of years, weather, we're in negative financial straits because of rain. I remember the one summer, it's like, we had all the memes out there, people underwater, hey, I'm in Indiana, thanks. So that definitely impacts the revenue stream. So by improving the floor, and Brandon's right, we had approved a grant for them to do the floor themselves, trying to save money. Sometimes get the professionals to do it, and you do it one time, and it's done right.
But we do appreciate the effort.
Absolutely. I mean, and I get it, they were in financial straits,
Yeah.
but doing it right, I think, offers
the
up
long term.
significant opportunities.
And I do believe this comes with a 10-year warranty.
Okay,
For it too, so that's.
good deal.
So,
Maybe said.
So I'll make a motion that
Well,
we
I'll keep-
approve the
I'll
grant.
keep you out of it, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'll second it. I agree. They've
right.
already lost somebody, so.
Yeah.
Correct. All
And
in
this is
favor?
out of 2022 money,
This is
right?
2022.
Okay, 2022.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Just a quick update. CCAC is doing pretty well this year, and we appreciate all the help from this board to make that happen. We have done quite a few things this year, just differently than maybe what we have in the past. We had a trunk or treat thing last couple weekends ago. There was 300 to 400 kids out there. It was a great event. I think it's gaining steam. We had quite a few sponsors to give candy this year, and just to kind of understand what else we can do as CCAC for the community. And we're going to be looking at more of those opportunities in the next year. We actually have a little bit of money this year, so not much, but we're going to get through. So that's good. And then we'll obviously put in for the
next year.
for the grant for 2023.
Yeah, for January, make sure we get that
Correct. We have
grant
to
Yep.
have that.
for the January meeting.
Yep. So other than that, I think we have election of board members coming up, and we'll go from there, and everything's going well. So
Perfect. All right.
we did receive, just an update, we did receive the field groomer that you guys wrote a grant for. We've been using that a little bit, but not to crown yet. We're going to do that in the spring, but that is going to be used for exactly what we got it for. So we appreciate that very much.
Good.
So,
Okay,
that's
I
about all we
appreciate
got.
it. Thank you very much.
thank you all very much.
We'll catch up to Mike too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have Mark Chautauqua. How are you, Mark?
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
We're finalizing our plans for the 2023 calendar,
2023's money. Okay.
and we have 2 programs that we want to use, the Visit Indiana events newsletter that goes out to 90,000 subscribers. And these are the first 2 programs in the first half of 2023 that we want to leverage this newsletter to try to bring people to Kosciuszko County and to Indiana in general. About 23% of the recipients of the newsletter are from Indiana. The rest are outside of Indiana. So this literally is reaching outside Indiana. So first of all, thank you for last year. You gave us some money last year for our promotion. Our ad budget is about 7 to 8% of our overall operating budget. I know this amount we're asking for looks kind of trivial, but it is important to us. And we operate on a very lean budget. Almost all the programs we offer are free. We're trying to maximize the ability for everyone to attend it. I hope all of you are getting our e-newsletter. We have an e-newsletter now that we just started this year, and it's helping us. So we think our reach outside the county is doing better. So individually, these programs, I know it's hard to predict how many of these are going to be day trippers versus, staying overnight. Our real goal is to help people become familiar with Kosciuszko County and Syracuse so they come back and come back and come back. It isn't just a one-time event that we're looking for here. So that's really the long view that we're trying to take. I don't know if you have individual questions for these. I don't know if you want me to
So
go
I
through
read
these.
through.
No, I
I'm good.
think it's a great
do too.
opportunity. So I guess make a motion to approve both grants out of 2023 money.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you
Appreciate
very
it so
Mark.
much.
Appreciate it.
Hope to see you at some of our events this year. Having Abigail Adams, you see, and Martha Washington are going to be our patriotic speaker. We wanted to have a woman this year. We approached Abigail Adams, and she said, you know what? Martha Washington and I work together. And so I think that's going to be a fun event. We had Jefferson, last year, and it really becomes a family event. Kids are there taking pictures with Jefferson and with the actors. So anyway, thank you so much.
All
We
right,
appreciate
thank
it.
you, Mark. I appreciate your time. All right, up next we have Chad for Grace College, getting ready for the tournament. It's exciting. I feel like we just had the tournament.
Yes, I feel like it was just yesterday as well. So sorry if I bring forward programs for
We're
you.
in 2023 again, just to clarify. The remains will be 2023.
Thanks.
While I was sitting next to Nate, I first want to go on record. I want you to know that I love the lakes and streams, so I wanted to make sure I went on record with that first and foremost this morning. So, but he said, maybe you need to say that you don't, so maybe it helps his cause a little bit more. I didn't know which way to go with that. So since we work together, I want to make sure I'll put that on the record. So great to be with all of you this morning here for the NCCA, National Christian College Athletic Association National Championship that we host coming up in March. We'll have 16 college teams from across the nation that will come in here, and we'll spend an entire week in our community. The beautiful thing about hosting this tournament, as you all know, is the fact that in most national championships, when a team loses, they just pack up and go home. So they may be in a community for 1 or 2 nights at the most. But with this tournament, the teams stay. They funnel into a consolation bracket. And so they are typically here for anywhere from 4 to 6 days, depending on where they are coming from. The one thing that we don't have control over, which would be nice, is that for more of a regional basis, I would love teams that come from Illinois, Ohio, where probably more parents. But there are teams, of course, with being national, we'll have a team potentially from California, from Texas, from Minnesota. You never know exactly where they're coming from. That may be a little bit less. However, the teams will come, the teams will stay, the teams will eat, and all of those things. So it goes a long way with your support for this. And it helps us be able to market in a lot of different areas as well. The one thing you notice in the last couple of years, we've been working with the Sports Indiana out of Indianapolis and trying to be able to do the sports calculator for the economic impact that it brings. And so we're grateful for the continued impact that it has had. And we're thankful that the NCCA has enjoyed coming to Kosciuszko County. For so many years, we've been doing this since 2009. And so we appreciate your support since 2009 as well. So we're getting excited. And of course, I feel like March comes quicker each and every year. So gave you the program. The program has all of the teams from last year in it and all of the sponsors that assist us through Kosciuszko County as well. We couldn't do it without their support too. So thank you for what you've done in the past. Our grant request is for the $5,000, which helps us just market to hopefully continue to bring people to Kosciuszko County.
So I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, Chad.
Thank you all so
Look
much.
forward to
2023
March.
Yes,
2023.
2023. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A trained dog, right?
Yep. The remains is 2023, I think, if I've got it correct on my agenda. All right, Chuck, with the Lake City Skiers.
There we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
I heard our name mentioned earlier. I am waiting on 3 receipts from some of the guys that are working on, have went and picked stuff up.
For the score building, right?
Right, right. So as soon as I get those receipts, and I can go ahead and turn the bill in, so.
Okay. That's 2022.
Yeah, it's already approved.
Yes,
just
we're moving on to
reimbursing.
2023. Okay.
Right. I really didn't think I would be coming back for a grant for more bleachers this soon, because we did that in 2017 and 18. But we had a really good season this season. I added, attached the sports calculator for the economic impact in there. Those only were just our home shows and then our all-star show. Normally in the spring, starting out at the end of May, our attendance is a little low. And that didn't happen this year. We started right out with about 2,000 people that showed up for our first show. Tuesday nights have always been a lower crowd, not this year. We had an average of 1,800 people at every single show this year, except for the 2 that it rained. And right now, we have a total seating capacity, bleachers at 1,678. And then we have a couple hundred spots for lawn chairs. So we had standing room only most of the year. And then for our All-Star Show at the end of the year, which this is the 3rd year that we've done it, and it's really become popular, and we had about 2,300 people show up for that show. It was incredible. People just kept rolling in the gate. And so, you know, we're looking at what's going on next year and what's going on with our crowd size. And we had people that are coming from all the way in southern Indiana up to our shows. So they're making a weekend of it to come to our shows. And we have people from Ohio, from Michigan, from Illinois. And I talk to a lot of those people because they'll call, and my number's attached to the contact. So they'll call and ask, you know, is there concessions there? What's the seating like? You know, do you have enough seating? I held my breath on that one this year, you know. So we're looking at that. One of the things, a couple of the things that's happened going forward next year too, is we just had a tournament meeting last night. And our City of Lakes, always on the year that we host the Division I Nationals, which we'll be doing this August, always turns into a bigger tournament. Because you always have some of the bigger teams in the nation that will say, we want to come down, we want to get water time in before the big dance. So we do have that. We have 6 teams coming this year. But what we ended up with, Mad City from Madison, Wisconsin, and Rock Aqua Jays from Janesville said, we want 4 hours practice time while we're down there. And we're looking at individuals on Saturday morning. We're looking at 4 teams Saturday afternoon, 2 teams on Sunday. And then on top of that, the George Hartman from up in Wisconsin, he came out this year and did a Future of Jump is Now clinic, which is really great to for younger skiers that are just learning. He said, I want to come back City of Lakes tournament. I want to hold another clinic. And we're like, okay, there's, you know, something else on the schedule. And then we got contacted by Derek Buckman. You probably know who that is or have heard the name. And they want us to host the Buck Up Freestyle Pro Tour, which brings in freestyle jumpers from all over the world, not just the U.S. So we kind of figured out the schedule. So it's going to happen, but we're going to have Friday's going to be a full day added to the tournament this year. So as far as like people coming into town, they'll be coming in on Thursday night. They won't leave until Sunday. So it's an extra, you know, an extra night's stay just on that tournament alone. And we expect a really large crowd on top of it, especially Friday night. Not taking anything away from the teams competing because we always have big crowds for that. But with these jumpers, there are jumpers that will be there from Australia and Canada. Some of these guys there's only 1 or 2 guys that can execute the type of jumps that they'll be doing. So that's going to be a big draw, you know, for that tournament. So as far as the bleacher seating, what I was looking at is to get 2 additional sections would give us 470 total with the 2 sections additional bleacher seating. So we bring our bleacher seating up to almost 2,150 people. And then we've still got, you know, a couple hundred, 150, 200 lawn chairs that can set up there. So that will get us where we need to go for the crowd. In 2019 at Nationals, we had right at 2,000 people constant the whole weekend. Friday at individual, Saturday and Sunday. So we had people that were standing room only for that tournament. And the things that you guys have supported us in, that's why we're getting calls from people like the Future of Jump and the Buck Up Freestyle tournament. We also got a call from Flonic Swivel. They want to do a clinic. They want to do a tournament here as well. We couldn't fit that in on that weekend. There's just too much. Unless we, tried to go into Monday and we were like, we can't do that. So, we're foregoing our regular Sunday night show. We'll be competing in the tournament, but normally we do a Sunday night show at the end of that weekend. There's no way. It's just too jam-packed a weekend. So having these extra bleachers would really be a big help for, the crowd. Because when people are calling and they're asking, do you have enough seating? And we're at a point now where, we get to a certain point, it's just going to have to be closed at 8. Which is good that we have that many people coming in. So we have 3 big tournaments this year. The one I just talked about, the Central Region Tournament, which will bring 7 teams in. And then, of course, the Division I Nationals, which will bring in the 14 top teams plus individual competitors. And that also is a 3-day tournament. And then our next time to have the Division I will be 2026. That's when we're up for it next. So, we're growing. Our crowd size is growing. The attraction that we provide for the community is just getting bigger and bigger. I'm kind of a little taken back by how popular it's become. And our team has grown quite a bit. Next year, we're picking up another, 5 pro skiers that are coming to join the team, which will just bump up the draw that much more. Proud to say one of them is my grandson, who's in Legoland right now, and he'll be back up in the spring to ski with us again. Nick Wilson, who's been in Singapore, skiing with Action Horizons, and then Jake and Nate and Chris all will be back this next year. So the show that we're going to be able to put on is going to be pretty incredible. And, people right now think it's the greatest thing in the world. And with the talent that we'll have this coming season, we're just going to have that much bigger crowd.
So, question I've got, Chuck, is there any opportunity for leasing for the specific, because, you're putting a mess of bleachers out there, they're sitting empty, except for the times of the tournaments, and I get it, it's weekend, whatever, but is there any other option for adding temporary seating?
I checked into leasing, and it's just not something, you can bring it in for like a weekend or so, but they want like $20,000 because they have to bring them in, set them up, take them out, and they're smaller bleachers. They're like 8, 5 and 6 row bleachers that are 20 foot, 24 foot long. So you don't get the seating. The ones that I got this quote on, one of them is 21 foot section by 15 rows, and the other one's 27 foot section by 15 rows. And I had them break them down so that we could do it in a 2-phase project. one of them is 22,000, and the other one is 27,000. When we put bleachers in the last time, that's what we did, a two-phase project. So, you know, that, I had them break them down that way, so it would be, you know, the option to go with a little less over a longer time.
What's the lead time? What's the lead time for delivery?
They didn't give me an exact lead time. I think I give this,
Yep.
but we're looking at, I know we're looking at least 30 days lead time, minimum.
Yeah, this is time to ship out 3 weeks. So, you know, I mean, I appreciate that we need more room. I just, with our budget, you know, that's a third of our budget for 23 in one shot. So that's the only heartache I have with that. I think at least personally, I'd like to see us get into the start of next year and see what happens, what other opportunities are out there. Recognize that, yeah, having the bleachers would be an important piece. And if it's a 3-week lead time, we don't have to make that decision today to have that available and ready.
For me, it's more
At
of,
that
I
point.
know the importance too. It's not a no by any means.
No, it's not.
And
a
I,
no.
and I did get 2 quotes, but the first one made me laugh because it was $295,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just think I would prefer to
Bring it after we've taken
see,
over
after we've
2023.
got the start of 23 and see what other events, you know, I mean, we've got limited resources trying to figure out
Bring it back to
where
the
we can
table in
spend that.
January.
I would say
Good
maybe
time.
March, the
March.
March meeting.
Would you be willing to come back to the March meeting?
Yeah, yeah. And the one thing that I do want to emphasize is that if it's a 30-day lead time, you know, we have to get the ground prepped and all of that and everything. And then I think on the last ones, they were like 2 weeks constructing them, you know, so kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know.
we meet in March, I mean, the decision be made at that point. Yeah,
Yeah.
we meet at the beginning of March.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I have a question, though. The events that have started reaching out about using the lake to do their shows, do they pay any kind of like rental fee to use the lake? I don't know how any of
They-
that
they
works
don't
on
pay
your
us
end.
rent.
Okay.
They don't
Because
pay
I
us
was
rent.
kind of wondering if there's a
We-
little bit extra to help generate it, maybe instead of doing
We
both.
we
of you.
host, when we host the tournament, we make our money off of concessions, all the concessions that we sell. Entry fees, usually in something like the Buck Up tournament, we probably get maybe a percentage of that, but it'd be very small.
Gotcha. Okay.
Most of what we do is to draw people. You know, for the Division I Nationals, there are team entry fees. We get those. But then out of that, we have to,
There's a lot of expense.
there's a lot of expenses. I mean, we have to rent the tents that we have to put up for, you know, the vendors and everything, and then pay, you know, expenses for the officials. You know, that's why I'm always going to the hotels and saying, can you give me a comp?
Can you comp us a room? Right.
Because they, you know, we have to pay for their housing, their meals and everything when they're here. So if we can break even on a tournament, you know, we're doing good. Actually, the county benefits more than we do,
Yeah.
from the financial impact.
All right.
Okay.
Okay?
We'll bring you
Thanks,
back
yeah.
at the beginning of
We'll
March.
see you in March.
March 8th.
Okay,
All right.
And then-
all right,
Thank
thanks.
you.
All right, I appreciate you bringing it, Mark. Thank you, or Chuck, thank you. Nick with the KBC Cycling Club. How are you, Nick?
Good. Thank you for having us. I brought Mike Cusick. He is our president of KCV.
Okay.
So this is our 18th plus year of the Fat Skinny Tire Fest. We actually should be in our 20th year, but with COVID, we kind of had to take a year and a half off. So kind of getting back, last year was our first full year back after COVID. So definitely a little bit of a rebuilding year. But yeah, we had a great turnout on all our events and looking for another great successful year coming up. So I just want to say that I love the lakes too. So actually, I love Wagon Wheel. Wagon Wheel helps the village at Winona, so that's a whole different issue. But yeah, so is there any questions you guys had specifically for us? I know you guys have been a long-term partner with us.
I don't think so.
We
I
couldn't
mean-
put on the festival without you guys. Every year, expenses go up. It requires more barricades every year, more referees every year. So we definitely value the partnership that we have together.
And we've seen the impact from that at the hotel.
Yeah, we have, spectator-wise, spectators and participants around 6,000 for the entire weekend. Multiple 6-state region reach with people coming all the way up from California and Florida. So we're pretty much covering the nation with our events.
Move we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and that is 2023 money.
This is 2023, correct?
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the Lilly Center. And this is 2023 also. And this would be the grants that we have. This would be the last one, 2023.
You didn't bring a whole crew? Come on.
I didn't. No,
Thank you.
we're gonna try that as our strategy next year, maybe. So first off, we want to talk about clearly Kosciuszko, so that you guys have helped with that grant for a number of years, that campaign. And we are seeing a great opportunity for that going forward. We still want to continue that as a partnership between the Chamber, Kosciuszko Chamber, the Economic Development Corporation, the Lilly Center, and CVB. We would like to, or we have decided to pass off the operational management of that to CVB, and their board has done that and approved that, and we're so excited to work even more closely with Corey and her team moving forward with that. And so with that transfer of operational management, we've got a few things to kind of work out with some past grant requests that we have with you guys, if you would be willing to approve that. So if you look at, or you guys might not have access to this, I don't know all what you have, but I do have a budget breakdown for the grant that you guys approved in 2022 and sort of what we've spent out of each of the categories that you guys granted to us. And there was one category, a promotional video, that we chose not to do for $1,500. We think a better strategy with that money is to use that for the legal fees that will incur to legally transfer that trademark, the Clearly Kosciuszko trademark, over to the CVB. So rather than Grace College owning that, the CVB will own that trademark going forward. And it's going to be right around that $1,000 to $1,500 of legal fees to transfer that trademark. So we'd like to ask your permission to do that. We also have in that grant about $390. There's $315 left for promotional and print items. There's $75 left for social media sponsored content. These are grant funds that were approved, but we haven't spent yet. And we'd like your permission to have Corey have the flexibility to use those for those print and promotional things, social media, but also potentially to print some more of those road signs, which you may recall from the 2021 grant. We had unspent funds there for the road signs. Because of COVID, we couldn't get those road signs out like we had wanted to, because it meant meeting with a lot of local municipalities and their town councils and things like that. And with COVID, that was difficult to get together with them in person. And so there's still $743 left in that budget from 2021 for road signs. And so that's what we're requesting, is that the 743 from the 21 grant, which was approved, and the about 390 left from the current year's budget could be used for either promotional items or road signs. And then the 1,500 from the 22 year grant request could be used for those legal fees instead of the promotional video. So I'm not asking for any new funds, I'm just asking for permission of being more flexible with how those funds are used, given the transfer over to CVB.
So, and I'm looking at Michelle, legally, can we shift?
This is exactly what you need to be doing. He's requesting if you approve it, then he can move forward.
Okay. In the 21 money, that request have to be in by the end of this year, or it goes away as far as the grant request goes? And we put the time constraint on grants. So by the end of 22, that 734
Has to be dispersed, right?
would have to be spent. We would have to have that request for reimbursement.
Yeah, and we
This
could do
year.
that. We could order a bunch of signs.
Yeah. When you did it doesn't really matter, but the grant rules are the end of the next year, they have to be spent or they go away. So we need to have the request for reimbursement by the end of December this year for that $734.
For what was in 21.
The rest of it,
The rest
the
of it has to be
22,
by the
you've
end of
got till
23.
the end of 23 to do.
Right.
So I would make a motion to approve the movement of these funds as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
So then we're not, the 2023, we don't do.
Well, we've
because
still
we're
got,
transferring.
that is not a transfer, that's a different request.
Okay.
This is just moving
Okay.
prior budget
Okay.
funds.
Yeah, so the second request, or the only new request there is for our 2023 operating grant. And if you recall, you guys had asked in the past that we sort of sunset this operating grant agreement between us and you guys, move it down by 5,000 each year. So this would be the last year of the operational funds then. So we're asking for 5,000 for 2023.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
Motion
you very
carried.
much.
Good deal. Thanks, Nate.
Thank you, Nate, I appreciate it. All right, next up, we have an update from the CVB. Corey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. It was great to hear from all of our wonderful attractions and things going on for this year and into next year. I did want to quickly introduce, I do have several board members with us today. We have Stephanie Schaefer with the Warsaw Parks and Recreation, Jennifer Carnes with Heidi Group. We have Michelle I always say your last name, Landolt with Chestnut Bed and Breakfast. We have Rachel Sauter with our Tri-County Recreational Area, DNR, she's wonderful, and Mindy Truex with Creighton Egg Cafe and Farm. So I'm really grateful. Thank you for supporting us.
Commercial, I ate there first time last week. It was fantastic.
You did good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear
Yeah, it
that.
was fantastic.
You can't go wrong. You can't go
Can't go
wrong.
wrong.
And just quickly, we're really excited about managing, being asked to represent and continuing the representation of Claire Kosciuszko. The team has done a great job, and we're looking forward to what we can do moving forward with that. So thank you very much for your support in
Which,
the
you know,
years with that.
realistically, that's what we wanted to happen to begin with.
Okay, then.
When it all came
Yeah.
up, that was the
So,
chaos.
I'm glad to hear that.
initially,
Okay.
Is you've got a private entity managing something that's for the county.
So you're
So
excited
this
for that
is-
move. Okay.
Hallelujah. I'm
Great.
glad to
Okay.
see it
We're
happen.
excited,
So,
and for the future, we'll be continuing to work with those groups. But yes, thank you very much for supporting that. I'm just going to do a quick little industry trend for us, especially with holidays upon us. I know we've seen a really good tourism year. I hope you all have seen it. I know the innkeeper's tax is reflecting that. We have seen so many visitors across the county, and as I listen to many of our attractions here today supporting that, we're just glad to see that tourism is on back to where it should be, if not trending higher. So real quickly, we know that travelers have some economic anxiety with gas prices and some of our inflation issues, but traveling in the near term is still looking healthy. We have according to Destination Analysts, November report, they're reporting about 82% of travelers already have existing plans for travel. And in the next 3 months, 58% of them either have a leisure travel plans, 51% of them have a trip with visiting friends and family, which makes sense with holidays, and we are a great destination for visiting friends and family as well. 15% of those are business travel, and about 9% are going to be traveling for a convention or conference. So that's really great to hear for the next 3 months. In the holiday season, 26% of our travelers plan to travel for Thanksgiving. It's up about 6% from last year. 30% report they'll be traveling for Christmas, which is up just a little bit by 3%. And there is some travel for New Year's Day, New Year's weekend. So about 14% plan to travel, slight increase, about 2% travel. So we'll hopefully be seeing some of those with visiting friends and family. I thought this was just a really fun tidbit for, I know many of us are utilizing driving and listening, that 30% of American travelers are listening to a podcast on a regular basis. True crime, comedy, and news and entertainment seem to top those. And 16% of that group said they're listening to a travel podcast. So little pin if you haven't listened to Claire Kosciuszko podcast. It's a great podcast. So just a little bite right there. I'm going to show, I know that we do share with our accommodations our star report. I do not have October's numbers. We'll get those in the 17th of this month. But if you want to just flip this around. We're trending up. And Kathy, I'm hoping you're seeing that trend as well. So we're up about 6.8% occupancy from 2021. So I feel that those are some good numbers. Looking at our quick numbers, June was our biggest occupancy month, which is a big month for everybody. So those are pretty healthy. So we're really great to see that, and I didn't know if you had any questions for us. I did want to note, and Michelle, maybe you can help, Warsaw Lodge is now a flag back to Days N, and I'm researching to see if they are beginning to get those data for the star in the future. So I will find out from you to see if that is. So we're excited to see that for us. And just quick reminder, we have been hosting quarterly hotel updates. We do have one scheduled for next Thursday, the 17th. So I hope you can join us. We're looking forward to it. And if you need anything, just let us know. I'm going to quickly go through some really great marketing highlights for 2022. Our marketing and communications manager, Laura, has done a fabulous job at utilizing marketing dollars to promote, and a lot of our focus was on digital. So as you know, we have our Engage passports for Kosciuszko County. We do have a total of 5. We're working on our last passport, which will be surrounding around breakfast. So we know that people love breakfast in our area, and we have some great spots. We have a total of 1,031 signups for those passports, and about 1,318 have checked into those. And a lot of people, we are having redemptions come in and get prizes into the visitor center, or we're mailing them. So people are completing them. So we're really great to see that. We're excited to share that our social media has increased on Facebook by 5%. Our Instagram social media has increased quite a bit this year, and we're hitting some of those strategic plan initiatives, a part of our 3-year plan. So we're really excited about that by about 20%. So we're seeing a lot of growth and a lot of awareness with a lot of our digital marketing, especially around our passports. Also, we have completed several videos for this year. One was related around accommodations alone. We have a Made in Kosciuszko County video, and we are working on completing and putting live on our YouTube and our website where you can see them. Engage Kosciuszko County passport. So each passport is going to have their own video, and then we're having an overall one. So if you visit our YouTube page, please take a look at those. We are really proud of how they look and showcasing Kosciuszko County. We've been working with Dream On. They are fabulous at catching all of those. So we're really glad to see that. And one last little highlight, we know our visitor guide is a huge resource piece in the visitor center and around the county. The digital visitor guide had seen some great improvement being viewed on our website as well. So we do print 50,000 of those annual. We'll be doing that again in 2023. but we did have about an 1,100 increased total users from this year to last year. So we're noting that, and Laura has been promoting that more too, so we're aware of that. But we're really glad to see that people are viewing the visitor guide, viewing what's going on in the county digitally and physically. And I didn't know if we had any other questions. That was real short. We're looking forward to 2023 and planning on to showcase the county in all ways, shapes, and forms. So if you had any questions for us or related to any of the financials, Jennifer's here to answer any of those. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much. You have a great holiday. I can't believe we're already there.
I know, we're there.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the July 22 minutes.
So moved.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have the approval of the minutes. The 2023 CVB agreement.
Yes, so it's that time of year. it's
That
in the
time of year.
So,
Thank God we have a quorum.
I know.
We can sign the document.
So this agreement is based off our current agreement this year. What I did is I updated the date span as well as the financials as associated with the budget that you guys approved for CVB for next year of the $420,000 total. So other than those two edits, I did not make any other change. If you approve it as a commission today, it will then, I will deliver it to Corey and she will take it to her CVB commission meeting, and then they will approve it as well and get it back to me by the end of the year.
So moved.
Yep, I'll second that. Both
All in favor?
documents.
Aye.
Aye, both documents approved.
Okay. So that was the county's one as well?
And
Okay.
Yes.
interlocal.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Meeting dates, did you have a
Yes,
chance to review those
meeting
meetings?
dates.
So
You're gone for
I
the
booked a
first one.
trip. I'm sorry, I'm doing the tourism
So we
thing.
have to make certain that we
So
have a
I'm
fourth
gone
person.
that first week in January. Usually I'm here, but
I'll be here.
we're gone.
I will be,
So
but that's
will we
three.
have four?
Wait.
That's the real question.
Well, we have,
I
to-
might not be in town that week either.
maybe we should look to move the January meeting. That concerns me. Man, the budget review's on my birthday. I get that. Just kidding.
Would January 18th work if we move it back a week?
Does for me.
Good for
That
me.
should work for me.
Mark, are you back by the 18th?
I'm back, I get back, yeah, the 15th, I
So
think.
you could make it on
Let
the
me, let me
18th?
double check. Let
Again.
me double check.
So it'll be the 18th?
January
He's
18th?
looking.
Yeah, I'm back the 15th, so the 18th would work.
And we need to find out who this Doug Shoemaker is.
Yes, we
I
will
need some
reach out to
contact
him and we'll reach
information.
out to the county council who appointed him. And I'm sure he'll be here at the
Okay.
January
So
meeting.
while we're at it, let's look at the rest of the dates, if anybody's gonna be traveling or whatever, I wouldn't be here, because again,
Does
we got
anybody-
a
We're a
small core
small
group, we gotta
group.
be
Yeah, we
here,
do.
or
That's right.
we aren't doing whatever, so. I know the March,
Okay, there, okay, there,
I'm good,
good there. I don't see anything else for myself that stands out.
yeah,
Do
I'm
you?
here, July, yeah, it's always around.
I think everything else, except for January's will be the 18th.
Yeah, and then November, yeah, I'm around, I don't have any conflicts this second with anything the rest of
Okay.
those dates.
So we're going to go ahead and approve the meeting dates with the change of January 18th.
Right.
Okay,
Okay,
so,
So moved.
Second.
all right, all in favor?
all right.
All right,
Right, and the only other thing I have is, as you know, my term expires December 31st as auditor. So this will be my last in-person meeting with you, representing the auditor's office. So I just wanted to thank each and every one of you. This is my first goodbye.
oh,
There will be many. It has been a great honor and pleasure to work with each and every one of you. I love
You've been
serving you
amazing. You do
in the
everything.
capacity that I have. I'm not going away forever. Hopefully, I'm just shuffling around a little bit. But I just wanted to tell you all thank you so much for allowing me to serve you and grow in this experience in the last 8 years. So,
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
Thank
everything
you for what you've done, it's
Yeah.
been great.
It's been fun working.
Tough act to follow, exactly.
That's sad. guess we can adjourn at this point. Now I'm sad. Okay, motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in
adjourned.
favor? Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, good meeting.
So where do we need to sign? We got to sign those agreements we just
Everywhere.
approved on. Yes.
We'll start with that.
All right.
These ones are just for you. Those are your grant. And just one.
All right.
You could. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, hey, it's been fun working.
Hey, it has been fun.
Yeah. And you got a nice sister.
You know, she's my favorite.
I know she is.